Hi everyone, welcome to today's energy update. So, as we move towards a Capricorn full moon, we may be called to complete changes that we were called to begin throughout May and June. So, some of you may have found that May and June were quite challenging, that you were having those feelings of unsteadiness or uncertainty. And I think that for a lot of people, that's going to be related to changes with their life circumstances. For some, it will be maybe more minor things or related to changes in thought or behavioral patterns that you are now no longer aligned with and you need to release. But for the most part, I think a lot of us will experience actual changes to our circumstances. And when I was doing a meditation to connect with my guides last week, the goddess Sekhmet came through, the ancient Egyptian goddess, and she, I think, is coming through to a lot of people at the moment, or that energy is certainly with us, and she comes through to remind us that we can draw on the strength of higher energy beings or higher frequency beings when we're finding our own circumstances challenging. And she also reminded me to make sure that when we open up our energy, that we draw that energy through the heart center. So whether you're drawing up energy from earth or bringing it down from the cosmos, make sure that you connect it through the heart center so that it can move more easily through the rest of the body. That also gives you a better flow of energy to ground in anything you're trying to manifest, but also keep it connected to your higher self and your higher consciousness so that you are creating in a way that is balanced and more benevolent. And to be aware at the moment, because there is this really kind of strong manifestation energy, and I think that's going to continue for the next couple of years and possibly keep increasing, but over this couple of years, that manifestation energy is going to be rocky for some because there are so many events going on both externally and within ourselves that is causing the kind of feelings of chaos and turbulence. So it can be easy when we're having difficult circumstances to end up unintentionally manifesting in a negative way. So just have a little think about, how do you talk to yourself? Do you talk to yourself in a negative way? Do you allow yourself to believe negative things about you? Or do you allow yourself to believe that you are of infinite potential and that you can create anything? And does your mind chatter notice which kind of pattern it falls into? And if you find that you're being very negative about yourself, then that is really an area that is worth working on at the moment. As if you are aligned with the negative, then the processes where things that don't serve you anymore being stripped away are going to be more difficult as well, because they're going to make you fall into a space of doubt rather than of understanding that things sometimes don't work out or get pulled away from you because you're actually in a different frequency to them and you need to align with something different. So yeah, really being aware of those kind of thought patterns and self-judgment. Also with your thought patterns when it regards other people as well. We experience our individuality as humans, and that makes us feel quite separated from others at times. And that's necessary for us to have this human experience. That's what we came here for. That's why we incarnated. But once you do have an understanding that you're an energy and you're connected to other energies, it does allow you to see that as more of an experience that you're having rather than with the kind of adversity that you sometimes get when you feel really quite polarized from somebody else. And just coming back into the thought patterns, if you're having a lot of negative thought patterns about other people and the kind of external world, a lot of that is going to be a reflection of things going on within yourself that you haven't yet released. And that kind of negative thought process brings more of that energy toward you as well. So even if you feel, you may be perfectly justified in an opinion you might have about something or somebody else, but the more that you focus on that, the more you're going to draw that energy towards you. Whereas if you can go, okay, yeah, that's that person, that's that situation, and that's the human experience that's going on for them there, but that's not my human experience, I don't need to be drawn into that or have a judgment over it, then you're not going to draw it into your own energy in the same way. So just be aware of such high manifesting potential that is going on at the moment. And the next couple of years are really going to call our attention to what we're in resonance with. And I think that's why so many people are experiencing such huge changes in their life and their circumstances. So there will be many things that you were very much aligned with a couple of years ago or further back that you're not aligned with anymore. That can be from your own personal growth or the lack of kind of growth or lift in resonance of others. And so if you're doing that kind of self-work and that pathway, that journey to kind of try and lift your own frequency, it is very likely that you're going to experience that there are people and circumstances that are pulled away from you, because you don't align with that anymore. It doesn't resonate with you. And sometimes that can be a really painful thing to have to address. We might not want to let go of those people. They might still be very, very dear to us. But without allowing those changes to come, if they really feel like they need to, then you're going to hold yourself back from lifting your own frequency and being able to kind of step into that higher space. So if you're experiencing these changes, then if you can bring a little insight into the fact that those are occurring because you are ready for something else, you're ready for something bigger, that will hopefully help you to accept that a little bit more easily and go about those changes and help them to be made in a way that is both benevolent for yourself and for anyone else that might be involved in those circumstances. It's when we really can feel that something needs to change or alter, but we hold on really tight and don't want to let that circumstance change, that we often end up in situations of pain because resentment comes in, because we don't actually want to be in that circumstance anymore. So if we can recognize, okay, something needs to shift for me, this isn't working for me anymore, how can I do this in a way that is going to be the most benevolent, bring about the most growth for all of us that are involved in this situation, then you will find that maneuvers more easily. You're less likely to go through that kind of emotional turmoil that will then lower your frequency again, that you'll have to then work up back through before you're able to experience this thing. So just remember that change leads to growth, but also growth leads to change.